things are shining bright for you. And in case they aren't, I hope you at least can find some comfort within this video. Today's topic, while I whisper and eat some chips, will be how to move on properly after having a breakup with someone you care. In this, with someone you care. If you have ever been in a relationship, or you have been friends, like really close friends with someone, and life has happened to not agree with the two of you being together anymore, then this video is gonna talk about how to properly move on from my perspective. It is very simple, but it also opens the door for a lot of conversation because there are a lot of process and stages of a breakup. When you feel alone because somebody really meaningful to you is no longer there, they have chosen to distance themselves, or you have chosen to do so, you will feel the following hours and the following days to be the most intense emotionally. You may even have a stomach ache, headaches, crying, feeling sad. These are normal reactions because if someone truly mattered to you, not longer having them in your lives can be equally to grief. The death of somebody or the loss of somebody you really care for. In this regard, you must understand your feelings and you must go slow. You must go carefully every hour, relaxing but also crying. Something that is often happens and mistakes that I am also a victim of is that when you are emotional after a breakup, you tend to rush decisions, and in doing so, sometimes you make things worse for some people. You want to say hurtful, meaning things because you feel betrayed, and you don't realize that by saying those things, you are inherently making everything way worse. One of the best things you can do when something bad is happening is to stop for a few moments. I know everyone wants an explanation. I know people are asking you, hey, what happened between you and this person? Weren't you guys besties? What happened between the two of you? You have been dating for years and years. I just learned that you're no longer together and blah blah. And you kind of feel compelled to give an answer, your side of things. You kind of feel like it's important to say things where the emotions are high. But as someone who tries to learn and be better every day, this could actually be the worst thing. It's important to know that when we are emotional, we tend to say a lot of things that later down the line we'll regret. And I'm pretty sure everyone here can relate to that fact that some of us make mistakes. All of us actually make mistakes. And once a mistake is done and set in stone, there is no going back from that point. It's just the harsh reality. When you are feeling upset, sad, depressed, betrayed, confused, you are unable to think clearly. These consequences, you just want to express your griefs, and you should, in a way. But I implore you to rather be silent for a little longer, to think properly. And if people keep nagging you for an explanation, try to tell them that you need time for an answer because you are still processing things. Although sometimes certain things require quick action, if you want to avoid having issues or causing unnecessary grief to someone. Sometimes it's best to take a step back, disappear for a couple of hours or a day, and then come back with a clear mind. If you, after doing so, still find yourself convinced that a breakup or distancing yourself from somebody is the right choice, then that is nothing else you can meditate about. If you are able to come to a conclusion while your emotions are high and you trust your gut, then you don't need to stop or pause to meditate. However, always be mindful that emotions cloud our judgment and sometimes when we are upset we tend to be very picky on our memories. We are able to quickly dismiss all the happy times together because we feel hurt, and we only say the most hurtful things because we are also hurting. And once those things are said and done, there is no apology that can mend things. Be careful with your words. I know for a fact that acting too quickly is not the smartest choice. And I know in my life maybe I made mistakes, but it's too late. To the point in which, I don't think there can be any reconciliation. So I'm making a video to try to teach you to be better than me, to not let grief and sadness cloud your vision, and teaching you something firsthand. It's really complex. Emotions are always hard to understand, and this video, on the second part, we're gonna talk about how to move on from that breakup now that you understand the context. In order to properly move on from a breakup, to be more precise, there are two types of breakups. When people have done wrong to you and when you have done wrong to people. Let's focus first on when people do wrong to you. When you feel like people are being unjust, when people distance themselves from you, when people cut ties with you, and they have done wrong things to you, saying hurtful things, you feel that you are being isolated, you feel confused, and you can also feel self-guilt, thinking that it's your fault. True to be told, there is always a little bit of guilt on everyone. Let me explain. If someone does wrong to you, obviously they are in the wrong. But as people, we sometimes choose to be naive and ignore certain things that makes us uncomfortable about people. Things we call little red flags. And I'm not telling you that you should feel like you're the one responsible, but I'm pretty sure everyone can feel when a breakup is about to happen or is happening. Do not be ever dismissive of that feeling in your gut that is telling you something is wrong. When you talk to people and you have a little weird feeling about them, it doesn't matter if they're popular, pretty, beautiful or handsome or anything. They give you a weird vibe. You must learn to know this feeling and distance yourself from people immediately, quickly. You might seem to come across as a cold, mean person, but in reality what you're doing is protecting yourself and knowing to be wiser, to read in people terrible behaviors that later will create issues. Do not try to befriend people that you know have a weird vibe, even if you can't explain it. Trust your guts. More often than not, you will not be mistaken. I am not telling you to have prejudice. I'm not telling you to make assumptions. I'm telling you, if you felt something is wrong, walk away immediately. Don't let it become a forced friendship that later down the line you're gonna end up discovering to be the most hurtful things that can happen to you. Learn to be wiser for your own sake. Just because we want to see good in people, it doesn't mean that we should be constantly putting ourselves at risk emotionally by surrounding ourselves from the wrong type of people. This is important. Now that you know how to, or you at least understand the way of protecting yourself, how do you move on from a breakup when people have done wrong to you? Number one, give yourself time to grieve. Crying is okay. Like I said in other videos, go to your room in solitude. Get a pillow, hug something, a plushie, anything you may have. It hurts a lot when that type of things happen. So you should cry, you should let the emotions out first. It's fine if you don't want to do much that day. Hey, it's okay to allow yourself a sad day, a week, or a month even, depending how valuable things have been to you. You must not let, however, this be a tendency. Once you have done enough grieving, you need to pick yourself up. I need you to cleanse everything around you that reminds you of the person that hurted you and left you. Pick up the belongings, if any, grab their memories and slowly remove them. Each part of that will be a process of pain. But once done, you will be freeing yourself from torment and sadness. Once you are able to start talking to your friends again and move on, you will be able to once again experience the happiness and joy you usually do. But it ain't gonna happen by replacing someone with someone else. It ain't gonna happen when you just had a breakup and you are immediately trying to fill that person's emptiness with somebody else. You need to give yourself time to heal. You need to give yourself time to process everything and talk to people and talk to yourself in solitude. This is the first step towards moving on. The second part of moving on requires you to always have a surrounding of friendship. Do not isolate forever. Do not seek to be forever in solitude, because that is also negative. And if by any chance in life you do not have any friends, try to find comfort in a hobby. Reading, art, exercising, going outside, playing music, anything that can get you out of sadness and has your mind and body occupied. That will help you move on even quicker. But it's a process, because everywhere you go, if you are not fully healed, you will see traces of the person that just left and hurted you. So understand this and take proper slow steps towards healing in friendship and relationship breakups. As for part 2 of the video, which is breakup and you are at fault. This requires a different approach. When you are at fault, when you have done something wrong, maybe you cheated on somebody, you betrayed their trust, maybe you made people feel worthless, or you said something really inappropriate, but you care for them, but you just made a terrible mistake that you wish you could take back. The first thing you need to do is understand that every consequence unfortunately have a reaction, and you cannot control or wish for things to be back to normal because your actions have already changed everything. What you can first do is start to become wiser with yourself, criticizing your whole behavior of what you did wrong so that you can learn from your mistakes and not repeat them is one of the best things you can start doing. Grab a piece of paper and write down all the things as you remember them, and then read everything from a third perspective, criticizing the things that you did wrong. There is nothing worse than somebody that clearly is making wrong, convincing themselves that they are righteous and correct. If you are making mistakes, first start by learning what have you done. Why, when I said this person felt this way? Why was this a bad thing to do? And this can take a long time because it's really hard to criticize ourselves. Most people tend to be narcissistic and never do meditation or self-introspection in which they end up analyzing their behavior. So, truthfully and carefully, try to, first of all, know what did you did wrong before you apologize, if you have a chance to apologizing. Because more often than not, what people will say in their defense, even though they have done wrong, is, oh, I care for you, but I think you're too sensitive, or you know what, I'm sorry that you're hurting. Like, instead of saying I'm sorry for being a piece of shit, you know? And this requires patience. In life, I'm pretty sure all of us at some point have hurted somebody in a way. And even though the other person that you have hurted or affected will never probably learn that you are doing this, you must still try to be better. Every time there is a problem, we must learn what we did wrong. And this can take time. People may call you hypocritical or liar or manipulative, but if you're honestly trying to be better, you will be able to see your mistakes eventually. Don't worry at this point about saving yourself or making yourself trying to look good. I'm pretty sure by the time you have made a mistake so bad that a breakup happens, a lot of people around you already know exactly what happened because people always talk. So don't try to put yourself as self-righteous. Own up your mistakes. Learn to be better and avoid making the same mistakes is gonna be important. So that later, if there is a chance, you can properly apologize. If there is way too much trauma and issues, you can even take therapy for that. However, if you are given a chance to apologize for your wrongdoings, make sure that you are understanding everything, and I mean as much as you can, as to why you may have felt the other person really bad, so that when they listen to you, at least they know you are being sincere and not just trying to cover yourself for things that you just want to be a better person when you are not. Do not be manipulative in your apologies. Do not tell people that they are wrong. If you are the one making mistakes, own it up. On the second part on how to move on, now that you have done self-auto-analysis, you have to come to terms to the fact that people already made up their mind about you and they might not want to hear an apology. You are the villain in their story, and that is not gonna change anytime soon. So if you have done proper healing, you have done proper self-analysis, and you know you have learned from your mistakes, and you have even apologized or tried to apologize, you might still need time away. You do not need to force yourself back into people. I know sometimes when people lose a friend or they have a breakup, they try to be everywhere in this person's life, calling them, messaging them. I feel like by the point that it's a breakup, it's way too late. And you should just simply give people a time and distance yourself, especially if you are the one at fault. You should just let them be with their own life without wishing any ill, without looking to annoy them, talk to them, force yourself into their conversations. The proper way to move on is to simply give people time and distance, even though that may mean forever. Even though that may mean that you no longer will be able to talk to them. Giving people peace of mind away from you will also allow them to do their healing. Please be respectful and mindful that when people don't want to be around you, that's it. Do not try to pursue. There is a lot of mistakes. I once had the chance to talk to somebody that had a relationship with a liar and a manipulative boyfriend, and this person, the boyfriend, guilt-tripped the affected one into believing they were at fault for cheating because they were not present enough in the relationship for being too busy working, which was absolute bullshit. But this person was always nagging them, calling them, trying to be everywhere in their face, only making things worse. Do not be that guy. Do not be that guy. Do not pursue people. Let them go. Let go of them. Because just like you, they're also trying to be happy. And they're trying to be happy away from all the griefs that you represent in their life. They're trying to cleanse this. Give them space. Give them time. Do not be a stalker. Do not be a bad person, please. Just process things and learn to not make the same mistakes twice. Everyone can make mistakes, yes, but consequences will always exist for the mistakes we make. And yeah, maybe you didn't know this was gonna happen, but now you do. Now you do that this is a thing, so you know to be better in the future, so you know to change. And preventing things will make you a wiser person. To finalize and kinda wrap up the last part of the video, I want to clarify that the person who is hurting from a breakup is not at fault of a poor decision, is not at fault of the other person cheating. When I said that you need to be better by learning to read red flags, I'm not trying to put the victim of a friendship or a relationship in a position of being responsible for their suffering. I'm trying to teach you that we need to be better as people so that we don't end up surrounding ourselves with problems every day. Especially if this is a recurring thing. If this is the first time that happens to you because you trusted someone and someone backstabbed you, that is unexcusable. But if you are often in life making the same mistakes, if all the time people keep on betraying you, hurting you, lying to you, and using you, then I think here the fault is also partially yours for not learning to recognize dangerous things and behaviors. I am once again clarifying for the last time, the victim is not at fault unless you are willingly walking into a trap. That is a huge difference. And I hope that message comes across as clear, crystal clear as water. Because I know what it's like to be on the receiving end of a breakup. And I know what it's like to be responsible for a breakup. I mean, I think everyone here have been through the same. And I know sometimes emotions can take the best of you and you say things in an impulsive manner. And that is something I will have to carry within me for the things that I have done wrong. But at least I can try to teach you from my mistakes so that you can be better. And unfortunately, that is never going back. But you can take reassurance on the fact that everyone in life, no matter who they are, always is trying to live at peace. No one wants to be hateful or spiteful for too long. Everyone at some point wants some happiness and comfort, not sadness. That includes myself, people around me, people around you, your family, your friend circles. Unless, of course, they have psychopathic behaviors. But if people are normal, quote unquote, and they're good in their head, they'll like to at least not be bothered or have to deal with drama. I hope this video can help you deal with a breakup. Remember that emotions are important. If you cannot handle the stress, seek help. This video is meant to teach you some things, but it's not meant to replace a real therapy in case you need it. And I am in no way trying to tell you that my opinion is 100% factual. This is just the things that I have felt, experienced, seen in my life. And my experience can be completely different than yours. Maybe you have a different perspective. Maybe you have a different approach and you disagree with me in certain things or in everything that I have said. That is totally okay. This video puts me in the spotlight as the one giving the advice, but that doesn't mean that my advice have to be the best out there. I'm just hopeful that with these bullet points I have mentioned, you can move on successfully and learn so you can rebuild your life in a happy way. learning from what just happened to you or learning from the mistakes you have made so that you can also protect your heart and mind in the future. They say it's never too late to be sorry and say that you're sorry. And that may be true. But it's also important to know that people need time and distance to grieve a breakup or to assimilate a betrayal and process it. So do not rush your apologies. That's it. It's a complex video. It's an interesting topic, and I hope it can help you. Please correct me if I think that my advice isn't the best. Compliment it if you have anything you think I need to know. I am always open for talking, and I hope you have a nice time. Be comfy, get warm, or I don't know, cold if it's summer for you. For me it's cold. And I will see you on the next video, on the next weekend with another